You're listening to Titans of the Trades. I'm your host, Ryan England, author of Hire Better People Faster and creator of the CoreFit hiring system, a proven process to help growing companies attract and retain only the best. I'm on a mission to revolutionize the perception of the trades and elevate it to new heights. After growing up in a blue-collar family, my passion for making the trades cool again runs deep. If you're a titan in the industry and want to be on my show, stick around until the end and I'll reveal how you can be my next guest. Welcome back. I'm your host, Ryan England, and today's guest is the Service Operations Manager for a security and fire alarm company. We actually met through a partner of ours, a mutual partner, and I thought it'd be great to just introduce him to the show, introduce him to you, because he's got some great insights in retaining employees by keeping up with the technology inside your business. I want to welcome to today's show, Vitaliy Kofman with LaMarco Systems. Vitaliy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Pleasure to be here.
So I learned a couple of things talking to you a little bit before we got started here, a little bit about your journey and what you're doing over there at LaMarco Systems. I'd love for you to share with our listeners right now, who are you? What do you guys do? And tell us a little bit about your journey to where you've gotten so far.
Sure. Thank you so much. So my name is Vitaliy Kofman. I'm an operations manager at LaMarco Systems. We are a security and fire alarm company that services primarily Chicago and the area, but also the surrounding suburbs. In general, how I got here, I come from a long line of operations manager roles in various industries, everything from service to basically like manufacturing, operations, warehousing. So my resume is quite long. I'm sure you can look me up on LinkedIn. My name combination is pretty unique. But in general, I've been with the company here at LaMarco for a little over 3 years. I get involved in just about every facet of operations. Happy to share my story and answer any questions to you and your listener.
I love it. We were talking a little bit about, you guys self-performing the work, service versus install, and kind of just balancing all that. I know that for a lot of companies, that's a challenge because they both service and install seem to have some seasonality to them, whether it coincides with the temperature outdoors or it's just the ebb and flow of business. And you were talking a little bit about how you guys are managing that over at LaMarco Systems. Can you share some of that with us?
Sure, yeah. So we are lucky enough to offer a wide range of products and services to kind of keep us through what we would call a seasonal slowdown. And that, our industry is tied pretty closely with the new building construction industry. Now, we can have a whole segment about the construction industry and some of the challenges that they face. But when it comes to LaMarco, we have kind of two types of businesses here. We have the sales of the new systems. This would be everything from, the new fire alarm systems, the new security and card access systems. Those are tied pretty closely with the construction, or I should say new construction. But then we also do retrofits. So, buildings that have already been standing for many years, their fire alarm is out of code, out of date. So they need to be retrofitted to meet the new fire safety code standards, for example. That's one way. The other ways we offer monitoring service. So once the system is installed, it could be an older system, newer one. We offer that service, and that's kind of a reoccurring, revenue for the company. And also a very big part of our business is also the service department. And that's year round. Luckily, we're not struggling to keep ourselves busy with that, because once everything is installed, whether it's warranty or non-warranty repairs, we can take on the challenge. And also we fix and we work on systems that we didn't install. Our reputation is strong enough in the area where even when a customer bought the system from someone else, or maybe they just moved in or they purchased the building and they have no idea what kind of fire alarm they have. Do they have the right kind? Do they have enough? Do they, security as well as all other types of systems? They can contact us for service and we'll be happy to provide them, whether they bought it from us or not.
So from a business leader perspective, it sounds like you found a lot of ways to monetize supporting your clients, whether that's through service, through the repairs, even bringing on new by taking care of systems that you guys didn't install. And then, of course, the monitoring, the recurring.
Yes, that is correct. Yes. Yeah. There are some proprietary systems that are kind of locked in by the manufacturer.
Mhm.
So we may not be able to do all the systems all the time, but for basic maintenance, we can because it doesn't really require anything special.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, I mean, ultimately, if we take on a project that we cannot, let's say we can't fix it, we will offer them other solutions, whether because the system is super old and we can't get parts for it anymore, or we just don't have the skill set in that particular system. We'll
Mhm.
either offer them maybe somebody else who can help them, or we'll offer them one of our solutions that we can support and, provide warranty for and continuous support over the years.
Nice. Now, we met through a contact at SimPro,
hmm
which is a software platform that you guys rolled out a couple of years ago, right?
Yes, about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. And I imagine, so for those of you that don't know SimPro, and Vitaliy will explain it way better than I will, but they're the CRM, they're the back office for your business. They handle all the scheduling and everything else. And I'm sure he can tell you more about that. Uh, but when you look at that kind of software, you're not a very big company, like headcount wise,
Correct. Yeah.
23,
We're
25, something like
23.
that.
Yeah, we're 23 strong, planning
Yeah.
to expand next year, but this year we're 23 for now.
And I love, though, that you've looked to a system like SimPro to say, hey, this is going to solve some of our challenges. This is going to help us be positioned so that we can grow and scale and support our clients. Is that fair?
That is absolutely fair. And that also stems from the fact that our previous system was kind of outdated.
Yeah.
When
So,
I joined the company, it caused, it caused a lot of headaches.
so what are some of the challenges that you guys have been able to solve by implementing some really advanced technology? Like, what are some of the things that SimPro has been able to help you with so that you're able to grow and scale the business? And you seem pretty calm about, a lot of people in construction right now are getting a little nervous about year end, election, those kinds of things. And you seem pretty calm about it. So I imagine you guys have some pretty good systems over there. Tell us a little bit, like, what are some of the challenges that you were able to overcome by implementing a software platform like SimPro?
Sure, absolutely. So first and foremost, Simpro allowed us to kind of unify variety of different systems that we had in the past. Now, I don't want to name them. I don't want to badmouth them. They are what they are,
Fair
and
enough.
we
Fair
used them
enough.
for many years before. But some of the challenges that I personally noticed as an operations manager, joining LaMarco Systems fresh, was the outdated design, and just from a usability perspective, would require for a simple task to do multiple clicks, and also the lag time because it basically runs a SQL database, SQL Server database in the background that basically it's like an input and output, and those are several seconds apart. So that's just to give you a little bit of an idea. But what Simpro allowed us to do was to put everything on one platform. So we could do everything from lead generation to quote generation to job processing, parts procurement, warehouse, accounts payable, accounts receivable, track our job profitability, which is very important, especially on the installation side, because multiple pieces are involved, sometimes many different vendors, sometimes many different subcontractors. And our old system just did not allow us to do it. So with SimPro, it's all in one, it's a one-stop shop. I can do the entire sales cycle through one system with pretty little clicks. So I think when some of the other companies are considering, and they're having some of the seasonal jitters, so to speak, I can run a report pretty quickly and see where my technicians are doing. How are my sales doing? Hey, did I receive all the parts, or am I still waiting on, two out of the 10? Where before I could still do it,
Yeah.
but a lot longer time, a lot more frustration. And with Simpro, it's kind of quick and easy and fast, and also easy to learn and kind of master for the whole team, not just for myself.
Yeah, I know for a lot of companies that we talk about this in the trade a lot, that in the trades, there's a entire generation that's aging out soon. And we're facing this labor crisis because 40% or something of our tradesmen and women are going to be retiring in the next 10 years. And I find that the younger generation really likes it when you bring in technology. They grew up on technology. So when you get the younger technicians in, they're like, oh, show me the software. Show me how to click and make this happen. They don't want to be filling out forms and paperwork and figuring out Excel spreadsheets.
Yes,
But
absolutely, Ryan. So one of the interesting things, and I'm glad you mentioned that, I completely forgot about Simpro versus the other software, is it has a phone app. So you'll be surprised how many technicians, that are currently working for us. And, we hired them, from another company, right? They came with some experience, And they were, and we're talking, 2023, 2024. They're like, oh my God, this thing has an app that I can use on the fly. Like I can just add my notes, take some pictures, do everything there. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, what's the big deal? Well, my last company had me fill out a form, like, an old work order, a service ticket, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, well, that sounds like, and this would be a much bigger company in general. When we compare, I mean, we know, I mean, we work with other fire alarm companies, sprinkler contractors, and they work with us as well for some things. And I'm like, man, for a small company, we're kind of advanced, and it's only because we chose Simpro and for its simplicity and some of the options that it offers. So it's, again, people are still blown away in the service trade business that this thing has an app. Where
Wow.
maybe plumbers, electricians, and maybe some of the other trades don't have that luxury still in 2024.
Yeah. No, I know some companies that have not adapted
Yeah.
or adopted the newest technology. My focus over at Core Matters is really on how do we engage our people? How do we retain the best
Yeah.
technicians? When you're ready to scale and grow, how do you attract new ones to your business? And I find that companies that have adopted the latest technology have a lot better chance of not only attracting the next generation of technicians, but also keeping them because they make the process simpler. Like you had said, communication is easier because you got one place where all the information is. You can pull reports more effectively and actually see where projects are at or where parts are at. And people like that real-time information. I think Amazon ruined all of us with that, right? Like if I can't get it tomorrow, I don't want to order it. And I think that a lot of times we take that to the workplace and we expect our employer to have the same kind of thing. Like if I can get it tomorrow from Amazon, why can't you get me the information by the end of the day? And a system like Simpro, I think, can really help with that. And it doesn't have to be Simpro. Like this is not a Simpro commercial. But the idea is that there is advanced technology that can help you run your company, whether you're in service or in construction, you just do installs, or you've even got recurring revenue that can really help you with being able to not only grow and scale, but also just be more comfortable in some of the slow seasons.
Yes, I would have to agree with that. And what you said, the technology expectation, I think the way I see it, it's not so much that we're trying to showcase the technology and the Simpro in particular, but when you talk about the retention, right? Technology, no matter what it is, no matter what system or software you're using, it is also, in my mind, it's an employee retention tool, because the less frustrated an employee is to have to fill out a tri-carbon copy work order with a white, pink, and a yellow sheet of paper, which apparently are still pretty popular out there in the field. That's an employee retention tool. If all I need to do is take my cell phone and snap a few pictures, and that will automatically upload to the software, and myself, as an office employee, I mean, I go out in the field very rarely. I have technicians kind of do the stuff that they do best, and I sit back and I manage the chaos, here. But that's also a retention tool. So in general, if you can spend less time, messing around with the paperwork or with some clunky, software, or even have to pull out a laptop every single time you have to send an email, where instead of, you have a company provided phone with the software that can do it quickly. Yeah, I feel like that's also a very well retention tool.
Yeah. No, so I love that you mentioned that with the retention, and especially the younger generation. Like we've got some older guys that never grew up in the technology. They still want the carbon copy. Like they're comfortable with that. But as we want to attract the next generation of employees, I think the people that have better information, more effective communication, and the technology to make it happen, they're going to be a lot more likely to not only attract, but like you said, retain those people. Speaking of retention, are there anything else that you guys are doing, or any other opinions that you have about how you can retain technicians, whether it's through software or something else that you guys are doing over there?
Yes, continuous education. That is something that I myself participate quite often, and this is something that I push my team. And the owner is right behind me on that. He is willing and repeatedly able to provide that for us. So we represent a variety of manufacturers, and you can find out more on our website. And, so they provide certain kinds of training. Some of them are mandatory, some of them are not. We try to participate as much as we can. Some of it involves just a simple, a webinar type of deal. Others require travel to Florida, which I never heard anybody complain about, especially away from the hurricane season. Some of it requires, travel, out of state, some of it downstate. So it's the continuous investment and growth of the team because in our company, for example, we have both extremes. We have one technician who's been with us for over 20 years. He's actually one of the owners, one of the first original employees. We have a couple guys who's been here for 10 years, for 6 years. And then we have the other extreme. We have a few guys who've been with us for anywhere from 6 to 12 months or so. So between those two extremes, what we try to do, number one, the experienced guys, we try not to forget about them because it's very common in the field, like, this guy, he knows what they're doing. Let's just forget about him and make him do whatever it is that they do best. But at the same time, employees, they will feel neglected. It's okay. These guys are participating in training. Yes, I know what to do 99% of the time, but I could still freshen up on my skills. There could be new equipment. There could be new parts, new methods. So this is what I think in the trades industry in particular, once you're kind of get up and running past your first, 30, 60-day probation or whatever the company designates, you have to continue to invest and reinvest. There will be new technology. Some will become obsolete. Some will become, this is now compatible with this new widget and this new system. And that's what we try to do. For a small company, I think we're doing very well. We're to have the most educated team as possible, where one guy, he can do fire alarm, but he can also do security, for example, right? Cross-training as well.
Yeah,
where
cross-training.
one side of the business is slow, we can pick up slack on the other side. Also, let's say we don't have any fire alarm jobs for whatever reason, but we have access control. Instead of a lot of larger companies would just go and lay off, let's say, a portion of their branch or their business, where we try to avoid that at all costs. And we've been lucky enough not to have to do it. At the same time, hey, if you know how to do something else, you can apply your skill set and still earn a paycheck and still, contribute to the company. So that's kind of how we approach it. Continuous education and cross-training.
I love that. Do you guys, and I don't know the answer to this, do you guys do any other training besides the skills training, like leadership training and development or communications training, like support the guys that way?
So I personally do a monthly service / safety meeting. So I conduct those meetings with our service team monthly to make sure that, and we work with our HR provider. We use a third-party HR company. They provide us with, continuous pamphlets, videos, booklets, and all that. As far as the leadership training, so we actually had a conversation with one of our technicians just yesterday. Now, this was brought up by him. I have to give him credit. I cannot take that credit. And if he's going to watch it, he'll know who he is. He actually asked me to train him on how to do quotes. Now, the way that the company is set up right now, the office staff does all the background, quotes, talking with the customers, phone calls, emails. We want technicians to focus, on what they do best, which is to be out in the field and service or install the equipment. But this particular individual, he approached me saying, hey, you know what, I want to do more. I want to learn. Can you give me, speaking of Simpro, can you give me a full access into Simpro, not just the app access, because that will allow me to learn the system and learn how to put together quotes. So we had a good conversation. Like, you know what, I'll give you access, but please be careful. We're going to schedule some time. I definitely don't want you to get in trouble with quoting stuff and you don't know how the mechanics work because you haven't been introduced to it. So yeah, we try. Once again, for a small company, we all wear many hats. I mean, you probably heard that many, many times before. And when somebody expresses interest in something, by all means, we welcome it. When opportunities present themselves, for example, we have one of our current project managers is a former technician. So he proved himself out for over the last few years. And there was a promotion to a project manager. So we try to do the best we can with what we have to make sure that the team is engaged, feels valued, and also can contribute ultimately.
I think that's great that not only do you promote from within and encourage your guys to learn new things, learn new skills, cross-train them, even let them advance in their career, but also that you have such a great relationship with at least one of your techs, there's probably more stories behind that he felt comfortable coming to you saying, I want to do more. And he wasn't worried about you thinking, oh, he's not busy enough. Maybe I don't need him, which is where a lot of people go, right? Like they don't want to tell their boss that they want to learn more because they're like, I don't want to rock the boat. But the fact that he felt comfortable enough to come to you, have that conversation, I love that. It's a testimony to your leadership and to probably the culture there at LaMarco, because I imagine stories like that happen so many other places inside the company. So as we wrap up here, how can people learn more about LaMarco Systems, what they're up to, maybe connect with you? It sounds like you guys are doing some really great things and you're definitely a company to be watching.
Well, yes, I would like to think that. And then thank you so much for noticing and finding us here. So as far as our, learning more, the best place would be to go to our website, which is LaMarcoSystems.com. You're welcome to, obviously our contact information is there, but people are also welcome to shoot me a quick email if they have any service needs or have any other questions. My email, I can spell it out here for you, but I know you have it. So if you want to post it somewhere,
we'll just post it in the show notes, not worries.
But the general inbox is info@LaMarcoSystems.com. I get CC'd on it anyway. So if somebody wants to reach out and mention Ryan England, that you heard me, you saw me there, I would love to see and know how far the outreach is.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I've enjoyed our conversation. I know there's some great tidbits in here for our listeners. And, I wish you the best in everything that you guys are doing over there at LaMarco Systems.
Thank you so much, Ryan. It's been a pleasure. Take care.
Ryan England here. Thank you so much for listening to Titans of the Trades. If you're a titan in the construction, manufacturing, or skilled trades industry and would like to be a guest on my show, please visit podcast.corematters.com. If you found value in this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot on your phone and share it with a friend or post it on social. And if you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag Titans of the Trades. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, click the subscribe button. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and get me one step closer to solving the labor crisis facing the industry. Want to know more about how we're doing that? Go to our website or follow me on LinkedIn. Thanks for listening.